divide up the quarterback reps with Jordan and not practice?
It's probably going to look 50-50. So today what we're going to do, because of the time constraints, a lot of our work is down in the red area just to kind of shorten the field a little bit. And then we have a lot of two spots, so it kind of will naturally just work itself out. And then, when we do routes versus air as an offensive unit, Sean Mannion's going to have to be ready to roll.
How long can you go with just two quarterbacks?
I mean, that's a great question. I think, obviously we're hopeful we'll get something done here in the next, sooner than later. But that's something that we're going to have to just adjust on the fly.
Jordan's still obviously, a young starter. I know he had a terrific second half of the year, but what's he missing by not being here?
I think anytime, whether you're a young player or a veteran player, I mean, I think when you get to camp, you want everybody out there, and there's some guys that can't be out there today for other reasons, and but you just got to adjust and adapt, and that's the nature of the beast. That's part of our game and part of our business, and but we're confident that he'll be out there sooner or later, and I know how he prepares, so I'm not overly concerned about that. He's going to do everything he can to get the mental reps. Obviously, the physical reps are really what's important.
Just to be clear, so he's obviously still here. Will he be at practice?
Yeah, he'll be at practice. He was in the meetings, participating, and just, hopefully we'll get something done sooner than later.
At what point do you realize you're going to have to adjust and adapt as far as practice plan that he might not be actually on the field practice?
When I was told yesterday. But that's that. I mean, obviously, that could potentially happen, but it is what it is.
And Matt, you guys had such a great off-season vibe, right? You had such great attendance and everything. In any way, does this put a damper on that, or do you feel like your guys are probably supportive of Jordan, one, and then two, that they're just in a really good place?
Yeah, I think the overall vibe of the team, like we had a great team meeting yesterday. There's a lot of energy in the building right now. I just think anytime you talk about the character of the football team and why that's so important, I think you can feel it from our guys. And, each individual, especially early on, I mean, we all got a lot to work on. And so I think if we keep the focus there and then obviously not allow that to become a distraction, I think it's imperative. And I mean, we talked about that today.
You kind of talked during the offseason about how it's great that you guys finished the way you did, but that doesn't mean anything moving forward. Was that kind of the theme to your conversation with your team yesterday, or what was your message?
Yeah, I think, you always go over the objectives of training camp, and obviously getting back into football shape, kind of forging our identity, getting ready for week one and beyond. That's a big part of it. I think the connection of a team is paramount. That's why we have these guys all staying in the same place together, to give them a little bit more time with one another. But I think everything we do matters. The work that we put in, how deliberate we are about our practice, how intentional, mindful, how we're going about our business each and every day. I think the habits that we create are going to help forge the identity that we want on the field.
Matt, what did it mean to get Kenny extended, just with what he's done the last 8 years and kind of the presence he has in that locker room?
Kenny is the model of consistency, and in everything he does, his approach. Obviously, he was here participating all off season, and then just the work he puts in. He has guys out with him in California and helping those young guys along. And then you can always count on them each and every Sunday. So I'm really happy, ecstatic that we got that done. And just, I think that the guys are fired up for him as well.
On Kenny, he'd be good in any scheme, obviously, but is there maybe more out there for him individually, impact-wise, in what he's going to be asked to do here?
Yeah, I think you said it, Bill. I think he's good in any system, and hopefully, that there's more out there for him. I think certainly you're either getting better or you're getting worse, and I think he's still got room to continue to grow. And but just love the fact that we got that done, and he's going to be out there with us.
Matt, Brian mentioned he thought that these guys have a hunger to them. I'm wondering what you see. I'm assuming you share that sentiment. What do you see from these guys?
Yeah, I think they're energized. I think guys are ready to go. I think they're ready to get back at it. But ultimately, we got to go out there and do the work and put the work in. And like I said, we got to be deliberate about how we go about our business and the approach that we take, and making sure that we're constantly competing to give our best each and every time we get out on the field.
I know the sort of OTAs was kind of jogged through for a lot of it at the start. Is that kind of how these first few days look, or are you going?
No, it's a different mindset now. It's training camp, and we got to get ready to play football. And there's an acclimation period here for us, and you're kind of limited, obviously, on the time and what you can do. Certainly, to me, it really starts when you get the pads on. But so there's some rules of engagement along the way, in terms of, at the end of the day, we need to get better and work together, every phase to keep people healthy. It's about being a great teammate first and foremost, and just, pushing each other to get better. I mean, certainly there's some things when you talk about, a lot of it comes up front, where we're going to limit what we do, maybe in the run game, with limiting some of the gap schemes when we're in these non-padded practices. And then conversely, on the defensive side of the ball, when we're trying to eliminate some of the pick games and when guys are rushing the quarterback. So I think that our guys did a really good job with that as we transitioned throughout the course of OTAs, of just working together and trying to work edges and just putting good work in.
How important is it to have Zach coming back today and kind of trying to figure out the best five, and sort of having it, they're all available from the jump?
Yeah, he certainly, to have him back is great, and that just tells you, it's a testament, I would say, to the work that he put in. He was very disciplined, not only with our athletic trainers, with our strength staff, and so it's good to have him back out there. Obviously, we're going to be smart with him and not going to throw him into those team settings quite yet. It'll be more individual, but just for him to be able to participate in some of the walkthrough stuff that we do in the evenings, and then obviously the individual is going to be critical for him.
On Zach, obviously I'm not an expert on these things, and maybe you'll be shocked to hear that. Maybe
You're not an expert?
No, I'm not. But obviously you got injured bench pressing, which is a valuable thing for staying strong. So how does a guy with a torn pectoral, in a position where you need to be strong, how does he stay strong? Just
through the rehab process. I think, these guys did it. I haven't gone through it myself, although I'm not quite the same strength as Zach. But I just think our guys had a great plan for him. I think he was diligent in everything they asked him to do. And, it's obviously the strength is paramount at that position, at every position. But, he's in a good spot right now.
Do you want to leave Jordan Morgan at one spot, or will you bounce him around over the next month? Or?
Time will tell. I think, obviously you'd like a home for him, but I do think that we've seen the value in cross-training these guys. I mean, it happens every year where you got to move guys in order to get the top five out there, and he's certainly capable of doing whatever we ask him to do.
Man, if Love's thing went on beyond into pads or whatever, would Clifford be more of the guy to take the number one reps because of his experience?
Well, I think he'll start out that way. But, everything's a competition, and we'll just kind of take it one day at a time.
Matt, it doesn't sound like you guys